Okay, I'm charging the laptop at the same time that I'm talking now. Set it right. Hold on, folks. Okay, look, I hope you watched the intro, part 1. If not, watch the intro before continuing. Now, in this part 2 of this series, Playing God, I'm going to talk about imitation love. Okay? Or you can call it the love of the world. Or there's another word for it. There's a psychological, scientific word for it, which scholars use, which is called codependency. Okay? Okay, it doesn't matter how you call it, codependency, that's the scientific scholarship word for it, or the biblical word, which is the love of the world, or there is a popular term called imitation love. It doesn't matter how you call it, it's the same thing. Now, let's talk about God. God is love. God has good will towards others. He has no ill will towards anyone because he is God. He is immutable. He cannot change. He cannot die. He cannot cease to exist. He is eternal, therefore is also immortal. He's invincible, so God has no needs. Therefore, nobody can manipulate nor impact him. Alright? Nobody can. That's why you can trust him, because he is infinitely stable. We, I'm talking about humans now, ought to surrender to God, because God is the only being that's truly free. So when we submit unto God, then we have his freedom to enjoy. That's where human beings get their freedom from. That's where human beings get love from, is from God. Without Christ, you don't have love in you. Okay? Without Christ, you don't have any freedom. No, you don't. So, God is love, and his love is goodwill towards others, and his dedication, loyalty towards others is unconditional. Why? Because God is an unconditional being. He's the only being that's unconditional. We humans are conditional beings. We always submit unto God. And only in that condition can we function as human beings completely. You know, only in Christ will we have true unity, true freedom, true love, true peace, and true rest. So now, what does Satan do? What does the world do, the unbelievers do? What unbelievers basically do is, they want to have something that appears as love, but it's not love. The world wants something that appears as freedom, but it's not freedom. Now I'm going to talk about that thing the world calls love. Okay. And I'm going to use illustrations now. Okay? Let's say I'm going to give a few examples that may be familiar to you. So hold on. You all have parents, okay? Whether you're from a one single parent household, or whether your parents are divorced, or your parents are still married, or your parents are unmarried, it doesn't matter, you have parents. There was a spermatosis that came from a guy when you had sex with a woman, and that spermatosis reaches in the womb to the egg cell. They both collided. The spirit matter in the seed was activated, and a human being came into being. That was you, and for the next 9 months the physical part grew and you were born. So everyone has a woman that brought them forth, a mother. Everyone has a father, biologically. Okay? Most people grew up with the people that brought them forth. Okay? Now, let's say you, as a child, you were cooperative. You always did what they asked you. You never argued. You always got along. You always gave in to the expectations of others. What did you experience then? You experienced euphoria from your parents. They were happy with you because Even when your parents were wrong, either you didn't realize it because you're just a child, or even when you realized it, you just gave in, you just ignored it because they're your parents. Now let's say you're not as cooperative. Let's say you're a difficult child. Let's say you're a child that cannot get along with your parents. Let's say they don't know how to control you. Let's say you are a child, but you realize when your parents are wrong and you don't accept it. It happens. What did you experience in those moments? They withdrew their affection from you. They became angry towards you. Many even begin to hit their children, or to emotionally abuse their children. But when the child does what is expected of him or her, everything is fine. And this extends into the kindergarten, into primary school, high school, and also into college. When you give in to the expectations of someone, you see, they are satisfied with you. When you're not able, I'm not saying you're not willing, but when you're not capable or not able to give in to the expectations, you're worthless towards them. Or let's say you work at a job, okay? The only reason why you're there is because they need someone to do a job, and that's why you are there. So they may treat you well, but it's only to motivate you to get a job done. The moment you're not able to do the job, they will search for someone else. Now listen, if you have to pay for someone's affection, is that love? No, that's prostitution. Yes, I've said it, that's prostitution. Alright? I'm just being real. I'm just showing you guys what it is. It's prostitution. So, most children that have grown up, who are not adults, when you ask them, do your parents love you? They will say yes. But when you ask further to moments in their lives, I'm not talking about when children began to bite their parents or began to throw stuff at their parents. I'm not talking about extreme circumstances. I'm just talking about simple day-to-day circumstances. When you go to them, to their past, and you analyze stuff, they will begin to realize, wait a minute, my parents only showed affection to me when they liked it or when they liked what I was doing. So the parents only loved what they could get from me, but they didn't love me for me. And for most adults, it's a very shock to realize that their parents don't love them. And you know, many people in talk shows, in the media, try to say, well, this is just an exception. If this were the exception, then why is the world in a state it is now? Most parents don't love their children. Most parents have affection towards their children, and often that affection is dependent upon the behavior of the child. This is codependency, people, or like I said, it's prostitution, because you have to pay someone to value a part of your humanity. They don't value you, they don't value your humanity, they only value what they can get from your humanity, what they can get from you. And most of the time, in human relationships, you have one individual who is this narcissist who controls another individual, and the other just submitting and just giving in. Children with parents, it happens often. Sometimes the children are the narcissists, sometimes the parents are the narcissists. You see, with governments and populations, it's like that. Sometimes the population is a narcissist, sometimes the government is a narcissist. We often talk about oppressive governments, but often the people are oppressive and the governments are the ones that are captives. It also happens. This often happens in democracies, by the way. So, look, if you have to pay in order to receive love or to receive recognition or to receive what they call respect, it's prostitution. It isn't real. It's fake. That is a form of playing God. You know what imitation love, or you call it codependency, or flat out prostitution, you know what it's basically doing? It's saying, I am the God of my life and I determine which value you have. If I can get something from you, then I give you value. If you don't do what I want, then you have to suffer my wrath, my indignation, my discomfort, my anger. You see, that's how the world is. That's how unbelievers are. When you don't give in to their self, they throw their anger at you, either through words, either by avoiding you, or by persecuting you, or by gossiping about you. It's all about playing God. The Most High made mankind in his own image. Alright? The Most High became flesh, Jesus Christ, and he died for us and rose again. So he confirmed our value and he confirmed his dedication to us. He alone stands above humanity. That means that all human beings are of equal worth, and that all human beings deserve their acknowledgement as a human being. All do. So when someone decides, no, I don't want to acknowledge God because then I have to acknowledge you. No, I want to decide how I'm going to treat you. I want to decide what I can get from you. That's playing God. And if you give me what I want, I'm going to give you affection. If not, I'm giving you indignation. That's abuse. Seriously, people. I would say billions of human beings on this planet, they are prostituting themselves. Whether it's unto their parents, or unto their children, or unto the government, or unto their peers, their friends, their lovers, their husbands, wives, onto demon spirits, onto false gods, onto religions, onto morals. False or even in church, you see this happening? Man, prostitution isn't just paying for sex. Prostitution is also something spiritual, and it goes very deep. You see? Basically, every time you choose to perform in order to get affection from someone, whether it's acknowledgement, whether it's respect, whether it's that you want someone to treat you well. You see, whenever you do that, you're basically making yourself a whore, a spiritual whore. That's what you're making yourself. If people aren't treating you right, they're treating you dirty, then don't make efforts so that they will treat you good. Why prostitute yourself? Why becoming a whore unto them? I've used to watch many Hollywood movies, and there was this movie, I believe, I'm not so sure if it's Al Pacino that was the actor. Anyway, it was a mafia movie, and one of the mafiosi asked one of his colleagues, also a gangster, he asked him, "Why do you pay a whore?" The other said, "I don't know, it's just because she did a service to you." Then the one that asked the question says, "To make her leave." And you see, I forgot basically the rest of the movie, but that scene, you know, it always hang out in my memory, because I realized there is a wisdom that's being shown there. You know, because I knew prostitution existed. I knew that there were women giving their bodies for money, but I never truly understood why men would willingly go to whores. Then that scene, that movie opened my eyes. And that was just a Hollywood movie, alright? Those people in those movies, they are sold out to Satan, they're filled with demon spirits. However, even there was an objective wisdom that they displayed in that movie. People pay whores to make them leave. Why? Because when women have sex with someone, an emotional attachment occurs. You see? Also, when men sleep with someone, men can shut down their emotions, but it can still affect a man. So what do? If you have sex with someone and you don't want anything to do with them, you give them money or some compensation to make them leave. Saying, "I'm done with you, okay, I got what I wanted, but I don't value you, I don't care about you, I don't care what happens to you, here's your money, just get the heck out of here." That's it. Well, the same way they treat whores, it's the same way many parents treat their children, many children treat their parents, many spouses treat each other, many friends treat each other, and many communities treat each other as whores. See? Seriously. They give you a compensation to make you back off. You see? In German, they say "verpiss dich." That's basically a form to say "F off." basically in English. Well, that's the attitude. When you go to a job and they give you your salary, what they are basically doing is they are giving you a compensation to make you leave. They only care about what you give to them. They don't care about you. It's prostitution. When you're married with someone and the only time your husband is giving you affection is when he wants intercourse, I'm sorry, I don't understand how you can stay in such a covenant. Or if you're a guy and the only time your wife is giving you affection or giving you acknowledgement is when she can get money from you, she only has sex with you when she can get something from you, I don't understand how you can stay in such a relationship. Or when people only call you when they need something from you, it's prostitution. Seriously, folks. Why are we, why do we keep on tolerating such stuff? Why? Because we are prostitutes before God. We treat the Most High, we treat the Lord Jesus Christ as a pimp. You see, often people have the idea that a pimp is a guy that manipulates girls and then the girls end up in the sex industry without the girls knowing it. That happens, but often there are girls who voluntarily give in to pimps just to avoid responsibility. And when they're being abused, they willingly take the abuse because they get some gratification from the pimp. So it's not just a pimp, the heartless are also to blame. And the thing is, unbelievers, they want a pimp, harlot relationship with God. They only want God to interfere with their lives when things are going wrong with them. They only want God to save and get involved with people they like. They only want God to, speak when God is asked to speak. They only want God to show himself when they ask for it. So basically, unbelievers, they want to command God. Unbelievers are like Jezebels, are like whores that, are beating their husbands. Let's just imagine you have a promiscuous woman, a whore. She's sleeping around with everyone, with both men and women. She's sleeping around. She's a loudmouth, and she is violent. And she's married, and she wants the benefits of the marriage, but she doesn't want the marriage itself. So she's spitting on her husband. She's throwing objects at her husband. And when her husband wants to talk, she says, "Oh, don't speak don't only speak when I tell you to speak. You understand me? Okay, listen, make up my bag, do this, do that, or else I'm going off against you." Imagine such a woman treating her husband like that. That's how unbelievers are. That's how they treat the Most High. And they want to blame it on the Most High for how they are. So, imitation love, codependency, prostitution. If that's you, then stay away from me. Don't get involved with me. Don't call me your friend. Don't even say hi to me. Then back off and don't come around me. I don't need your whoredom. I don't need it. I don't need your abuse. I don't need your blame. I don't need your fake love. Just get the hell away from me if that's you. If you hate the Most High and you treat him as dirty, then I'm sorry, you're not welcome with me. Alright? Well, that is it for part 2. Part 3 is coming up.